Okay, so I'm back. I haven't offloaded the bale yet. I'm going to do that right away. But I thought I'd give you part of the tour of the house. So we'll walk around a little bit and I'll show you. So the first thing is, this is the loft. So you can see downstairs up to the kitchen there. And the loft, it's not that tall, but I can fit under it just fine. And for a tiny house, it's pretty tall. In fact, the entire house is pretty tall for a tiny house. You'll see that the walls are insulated and vapor barriered, but that's it. There's not much sheeting on the walls yet. And so I have to stare at insulation, but it's slowly getting sheeted. So the kitchen here, we've got a nice big window, and I have these kitchen cabinet bases that I'm sanding and painting. I don't like the color at all. They're not in the best condition, but I don't have the doors on yet because it's much easier to sand and paint doors when they're not on. So I'm working on that. And the countertop you'll see is just plywood. It's 3/4 inch plywood. I think, oh no, it's 1 inch plywood. And it's just some salvaged material that we had used when we were building with hempcrete, which was ripped out. There's no hempcrete in the walls anymore of the house. So that's the kitchen. It's about an apartment-sized kitchen. So there's this side and this side. And you can see there's some OSB up on the back wall. So up until not long ago, this entire downstairs that I'm going to show you right now was all one room. The bathroom is behind that wall. And the bathroom and kitchen were always joined, which was gross. And it was difficult to have people over because not everybody's accustomed to that. So now there's an OSB wall. Now, typically you wouldn't use OSB to sheet interior walls, but it's cheap and it's what I've got access to right now. I can't use drywall inside. And the reason is this house is built on a Haywagon, on a trailer frame, and it's going to settle for the next few years, which means that the house will shift slightly. Now, that's not uncommon for houses that are built on trailers, whether it's a mobile home or just a house built on a skid or a tiny house. But what it means is that because of the size of the house and the potential for shifting, drywall could crack and would likely end up cracking if I was to put it on the walls. And I don't want to put out that expense and put in all that work and then have to redo it. So we're just doing OSB. And I'm going to paint the OSB tonight. So I'm really excited to have white walls. I'll show you when that's done. So this is the kitchen. The sink is not plumbed because we don't have running water yet. We bring in water in those 5-gallon jugs. And I heat the water on the wood stove as I'm doing right now. And that's where dishwater is heated up, or all water is heated up. Over here you can see we have the wood stove on our stack of wood. And I have a chair there because I usually sit in front of the fire and stoke it when I'm not doing much else. And then, okay, so there's the stove. And there's our wonderful furnace. And then back here is going to be the utility room. Now, right now, it's a pantry, essentially. So I've got my dishes, spices, and some food back there. It's not at all what it's going to look like. The china cabinet is going to go. And on this back wall here in the kitchen, I am building some shelving that will look like a china cabinet because I really love the china cabinet and how it looks, but it's not going to fit in the house. So I'm going to do a custom built-in style china cabinet that looks a bit old. So I'm excited about that. So this bathroom wall at the back isn't sheeted in yet. However, I'm going to give you a quick glance at the bathroom. It's not done. So we've got the insulation up. There is a shower base there. It's not plumbed yet because, again, we don't have running water. So we're going to put in the drain soon and just use a bucket shower. You can get them at Cabela's. It's just a pump attached to a shower head that you put in a bucket. And it runs off of 12 volt, which is important. Now I'll show you this. I have one AC electrical plug in the house, and it is right there. And it only works when the generator's on. So right now what I have is that outlet is hooked up to an extension cord that goes out to the generator, and then I'm able to plug things in the house while the generator's running. So that's helpful. And then this is our little DC fuse box. So it's a marine fuse box. It's meant for boats. And because 90% of the house is run on DC, direct current, that's my fuse panel for the house. So I have lights. I have lights in the bathroom. I have a few in the kitchen. I need to put one in the utility room down there. I've got one in the living room and then 2 lights upstairs. So for a 28-foot by 14-foot house, that keeps it lit. And the DC lights, and I'll show you one up here, they are LED. So they don't take very much electricity at all, and they are quite bright. Okay, so there's the wood stove again. And then there is my $40 table and chairs that I'm going to be sanding and painting white. I really like white in kitchens. And there's a bassinet and some water. And then there's the stairs that go upstairs. Now those stairs are not permanent. I threw them together one day, and we need a proper staircase put in, but I need to sheet the wall first. And it's just not been a priority because those ones work. They don't have a banister, so not the most safe. And then, so downstairs we have a couch. We've got some great big windows. You can see the bale is on my truck still. And another window on that side. Our door, so it's a bit drafty. And so because we're not done the interior of the house, I just got some of those pipe insulation noodles, cut them in half and taped them to the door. It works amazing. Honestly, it keeps all the draft out, which is fantastic. So that's the house. We've got the living room, couch, stairs, table, wood stove, furnace, the back utility room, and the kitchen. Now right here in the kitchen, where the car seat is, we've got that RV propane range to put in. So we're going to frame up a box to install it in, and it's going to go right there. So it'll be right off of the counter, and then the range will be right there. Super excited. I can't wait for that. Actually, I think about it several times a day of how amazing it will be to cook inside. And I mean, I do cook inside. I warmed some chili a little while ago, but to have an oven and to be able to bake some bread, I haven't baked in a long time. So that'll be amazing. I'm trying to think of what else I can show you guys. So the sinks, the water just drains into buckets right now, and then we take the buckets outside. As, again, there's no drain. So once we get the drain installed, eventually we are going to have water storage just out the south side of the building in the atrium, which will be built this year. Dear God, I hope. And the gray water will come out the drain and be stored there too. Pardon me. So that's the downstairs. Because we're getting ready for baby right now, there's a lot of birthing supplies and whatnot upstairs. And so I'll show you the bedrooms and the loft another day. But that's the tour of the house for now. Why am I showing you the house when it's so incomplete? Like, it's embarrassingly incomplete. And this house build started 3 years ago, and originally the plan for the house was very different than what it is now, and the circumstances around its build has changed a lot. And because of those changes, we ended up ripping out all the hempcrete in the walls and framing everything in. You can see we've just got normal framing, studs, 2x4 studs downstairs, 2x6 studs upstairs, and insulation, sheeting on the outside, vapor barrier on the inside. So just very conventional framing. The house is a post and beam structurally, but we've infilled it with conventional framed walls. And that ended up taking some time. Now, in the end, it was faster than continuing on with a hempcrete build, which was not going to work for this house for so many reasons. And maybe I'll do a video about that sometime soon, about the changes that have happened in this house build. But I was blessed over the summer and fall to have people come out and help frame the downstairs walls. Upstairs was already framed and done. It was always going to be framed. So it had been framed and insulated and sheeted on the outside a year ago. But this past year, people came out and helped finish the downstairs walls, which was a bigger task because we had to rip out hempcrete and then build the walls, install floor plates. Oh, I can show you the floors. So on the floor there, you can see it's just plywood that's been painted, which might sound dismal, but oh my God, I mopped the floors this morning. It was such a good feeling. Because I had a hempcrete slab floor and it was so dusty and dirty and you can't sweep or mop it. So I just had some Pollock, some metal panels down on the floor, which were so cold and so hard to keep clean. And the seams were taped and oh, it was horrible. So this is amazing. Those floors are fantastic and I love it. Now, eventually we're going to have some laminate put down. But the priority was to get everything structurally finished in the house before we start doing that kind of thing. I did buy some laminate for the bathroom. So as soon as we get the drain put in, I can put the laminate down on the floor in the bathroom and that'll be amazing. I'm excited for that. So yeah, that's where things are at indoors. Outside, it looks like plywood on a house, and that is what it is. There's still a lot to be done in here beyond finishing. There's some spots where I need some vapor barrier put up in a more secure way. We need to sheet the walls. There's a loft bedroom wall that needs to be completed. That's the last wall. And that'll make things safer for me. I've gotten accustomed to not walking close to the loft wall edge, but it'll be nice to have a wall there and have storage in the bedroom because I don't have any storage in the bedroom right now. So that's the house. That is the first public tour of the house. You are lucky people. I have been very private about the house up until now, just because I feel like we should have been further along. But again, because of the tear out and rebuilding and redesigning everything, it's taken quite a long time. But again, with the baby coming, he is still in there. It's been important to get these things done. So that's been a priority and we've been working really hard to get these pieces done. And we will continue to. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the tour and I will give you a tour of upstairs sometime very soon. So a really quick update. Clearly I've painted. So this is the kitchen and I know it's a little bit dark in the house right now, so it's hard to see. But I've got 2 coats on the OSB, and then over here by the furnace 2 coats, and then also in the bathroom 2 coats. Now I'm using this is flat ceiling paint, but I got it on sale at Lowe's for just over 20 bucks for a 5-gallon pail, which is so much cheaper than primer, and it's a latex. So I will be able to paint my final paint color in probably semi-gloss or eggshell, depending on which room, over top of this. But OSB takes a lot of paint. Like, it's still really splotchy on everywhere that I've painted. But that was a lot of paint. So that was the cheapest way that I could get some walls that are white and washable. It's also going to help protect the OSB as it will lock out moisture and it'll be a nice cleanable surface. So, quick update from the tour.